Welcome to McDonald's Coaches Bench each and every week during the football season here on Mix 1041 Radio and also on CHS Live. And once again, we have to give a big thank you to Dale Halfacre and his group here at Cleveland High School. Their studios are fantastic. The equipment is fantastic. But Coach Brown, I think the people, Dale Halfacre and his group, are very special.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure to work with them on a weekly basis.
You know, we could be in a barn somewhere and they would still do their very best to make it look good, sound good, and make Coach Brown and I look better than we really are.
True art.
But anyway, and Dale and his group have been doing this for the last few years in the studio here, and we appreciate them every week. We really do. And so a big shout out to everybody that works with him on these programs, on Friday nights, and everything else. So thank you very much for the hospitality. And Coach Brown, I want to thank you as we start this program because each and every week you've given your valuable time to come in here and do this program with me. I appreciate it very much. I've got to know you much better, and I just appreciate because your time between all of the responsibilities, your time is limited, and so thank you for always being here.
It's a privilege. I appreciate you.
And to Mark Smith and everybody at the area McDonald's restaurants in Cleveland, Tennessee area, as we say each week, Mark and his family have done the sponsorship for Coaches Bench for many years, and it's always appreciated. They are great people at supporting Cleveland High School athletics and supporting Mix 1041. So, Mark, hats off to you and your staff. And you're talking about true blue. Those people are true blue when it comes to supporting the Blue Raiders. Coach, I guess we'll just go ahead and get to tonight's situation, a Thursday night game. We open the season on the Thursday night at home. We're going to close the season on the Thursday night at home, giving you one less day of preparation. Of course, with the weather changes this week from what we've had for the last 6-8 weeks, a shorter week for practice, a different weather pattern. How has this week gone for you?
We've actually had really strong practices, which is great. I mean, the youth on our team shows through because they still love playing football, and we still have clearly a long way to get better, and they're committed to that. So that's been great. What's the challenge with a short week when you're this late in the season is the body recovery. Mm-hmm. So we don't have a lot of muscle density. We don't have a lot of calluses on our body, so to speak. So it's being able to flip and turn around from a Friday varsity contest to a Thursday contest, and that's our challenge right now.
And also, Coach, we've discussed before, not as many players in uniform as we would like to see in a year, 2 years, 3 years from now. So,
right.
Want to build up more of a membership on this football team.
That's always the goal. It's always the goal. But I mean, you'd sacrifice quality for quantity any day of the week, and we're consistently in the process of building more football players to be able to participate on Fridays. So, that's just where we are right now in our state, and we know what 6A football is, but the goal is to ultimately have more quality football players playing on Fridays.
Absolutely, and this group and Coach, this is not me trying to be a rah-rah guy or don't look at the total picture or anything like that. This is just coming from the heart on what I have seen through 9 games of this season. I have yet to see a Blue Raider team this year just go through the motions or just mail it in and not really get out there and try to win the football game. And, you know, everybody knows the season hasn't record-wise turned out what everyone wants. Okay, that's a fact. But also, to me, the spirit of this team and the desire of the team and the effort of this team, I admire, because we're all going through a phase here this year where it hasn't, the scoreboard hasn't turned out what we would want, but this young group of people, and I think it's because of the coaching staff, their parents, grandparents, everybody they're associated with, this group has had the grit to go out there and compete. And I tip my hat because, you know, being humans, we love to be the winner and everybody patting us on the back. But you learn more about yourself when you go through some hard times. So I just think this group has put forth the effort that I would want to see.
I appreciate you saying that, and it's true. I think anyone associated with this program this year committed to do something very hard together. I don't think there were any secrets about the state of the program, the state of the roster, and that goes for the parents and the families. And when we chose to be here and we chose to wear blue and represent Cleveland football, we chose to take a difficult path. And we'd love to have more tangible wins and more actual points on the scoreboard, but in the end, we knew what we signed up for, and we are committed to doing it the right way. And there's an element of pride there, I believe, that surfaced in our kids,
Right.
Definitely in our coaching staff and with our administration and families and teachers, that we knew that this was going to be a difficult year. So it's hard to convince a community of people to do hard things together.
Yes.
And we have. And if I'm proud of anything above all, it's that. We knew it would be difficult. In some ways, we've made it more difficult on ourselves with some of the things that we do control. But it's that commitment that has fostered out some pride in, well, not everybody could have. It's why they left. Or not everybody was committed to doing this together, so they couldn't be a part of it. So I'm proud of that. Thank you for noting that.
Well, it came from the heart. It wasn't, like I say, I'm not a rah-rah guy, but I just felt it inside, and this being the last week for the show, I wanted to express that. Let's talk a moment about the health of the team. As you said, one day shorter to get over the bumps and bruises from last week. So overall team health, fairly good.
We'll see. When we're recording this, we have a lot of soft tissue things. Not injuries, but definitely things that we're trying to gauge and see how we can battle through. But again, one less day of recovery, young team, the training that takes years to build, not there yet. So I'm optimistic, but I'm also realistic. So we'll see we'll see what we get to kick off.
Okay, this week being the seniors' final week, any special activities, any special drills, any special something for the seniors?
The way I look at it, senior night is more of a athletic department school event, which is great. I mean, don't get me wrong, but when we get to our postseason banquet, that'll be our opportunity to properly honor our seniors more thoroughly, just our football guys.
Yes.
And then, how do I say this? We never want to know when the last practice is because we expect to be in the playoffs competing. The only way that we would know our last practice and it'd be satisfying to us is if we made it to the state championship.
Right.
So I'm not a big believer in rituals that indicate the end of the end of the season because, as far as our expectations, we're going to be in the playoffs and we're going to be preparing for runs, and we shouldn't know when that last practice is until we've built our program up to where we can go play for a 6A state championship.
Yeah, very good answer. We're going to take our first break here on McDonald's Coaches Bench. We'll be back in just a moment with Coach Brown.
To the people who reach into a carton of warm, crispy, golden, perfectly salted McDonald's world-famous fries and return with just one. Who are you, and how do you do that? Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Coach, let's talk about last Friday for a few moments. It was a situation, first half, back and forth, tied 21 at the half. And then they made some big plays, a couple of long touchdown passes in the second half, and came out with the victory. But we put 27, I believe, on the board. And so anyway, competitive football game.
28-27 late in the game, and then you have to take chances when you're down. So the score kind of is misleading to what kind of game it was. But the bottom line, and I think this is true at any level of football, the team that makes the fewest mistakes wins. And we're very similar in talent. I'd say they probably had more experience, and they had more experience winning than we did. So when the moments got tight, we made some critical errors in all three phases, and that ultimately is what loses games. And where we are, it's I've said it over and over. We have to learn how to function before you then get the privilege of learning how to win.
Right.
And all of that is a long, sometimes painstaking process. But that's when I look back on that night. We had moments in the game where we could have taken control, and if we learn from those critical errors, we'll be better for it.
Anybody now? I know some coaches don't mind doing this. Some coaches really don't like to do it. You can answer, of course, however you wish. Some guys who stood out to you during the game, and like I've told you before, I'm keeping up with the ball, so I'm missing what's going on over here if the ball is going that way. So some people that maybe deserve some recognition for their effort last week.
Oh, yeah. Anthony Edens went over 100 yards rushing, complimented by the freshman running back,
Yes.
Tyrell Emerson. And, and, of course, when they play well, that means that your offensive line played well, and they did. They played excellent football. And,
Right.
And our fullbacks, Quentin Jones, Dax Evans, Lecorius Edens, they obviously blocked well to put those guys in those positions. And then defensively, Max Diniatolis had a ton of really good plays from his middle linebacker position. So, they're, again, 6A football game, point late in a point differential late in the game. We had guys play well. We just have to play better in those critical moments that ultimately determine the game.
We'll take our final break here on McDonald's Coaches Bench with Coach Brown, and we'll be back in just a moment.
When you're craving this much goodness, Hardee's all-new barbecue pulled pork Frisco is 100% Angus beef and 16-hour slow-smoked barbecue pulled pork on toasted sourdough. Hardee's Pulled Pork Frisco Burger.
The Farragut Admirals come in tonight, and I'm assuming they'll still have the Dallas Cowboys uniforms like they have in years past, a tradition up there. What about the Admirals this year?
Well coached, big offensive line, big physical offensive line. They've had a lot of transition on their roster as well. They're younger in spots than they usually are, but quarterback delivers a really good catchable football. They have some playmakers on the perimeter, and they're very multiple on defense. They're going to present a lot of looks, and just what stands out on the tape is just their commitment to their technique. I would say it's not inaccurate to say this is a lower talent team for them for what they've been producing, but they make up for it in coaching.
They give a lot of different looks or anything on D?
They do. They line up in a lot of different coverages. They give you a lot of different what we call fronts in the box that make you have to really be on your game up front to identify what type of protections and run calls that you need to make. It's smart football. It's nice to watch them.
The approximate percent of run pass for them?
I think this year they run it enough to be effective in their pass game.
Oh, okay.
So I couldn't put an exact percentage on it,
Yeah.
but I know what I'm watching. I'm watching a team that must be committed enough to have the run plays that set up the actual pass plays that they want to run off of it.
All right. And then the keys to a Cleveland victory tonight?
Limit turnovers. Got to limit turnovers. Eliminate the big play, which I think was a big part of why we did not win last week. Defensively, got to stay on top of the deep balls. And then, again, make them have to methodically move the ball down the field. When we, and this is true for any defense, when you make a team have to snap it 13, 14, 15
Right.
times, law of averages usually wins out in the defense's favor. and it did for us this past Friday. It's when you give it the big chunk yardage and the big explosive plays that just cripple your ability to win. So.
All right. We want a very good crowd, a very enthusiastic crowd tonight. 7 o'clock kickoff here at Raider Field. Last home game for the Blue Raiders this year, and Coach, would love to see the W, and would love to see not only the W but a good crowd, well played football game, and go blue.
Go blue.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you listening or watching the program. That's going to be McDonald's Coaches Bench for this week.